With anime in our souls and thoughts of wrestling out of control, we are a group of weebs who love the entertainment of professional wrestling. So allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling event of the evening, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all you nerds out there. So grab your steel chair, yell for the table, and get put through an experience unlike any other. Brought to you, of course, by Animal We Studio. This is the Weebs of the Ring, a podcast. Happy Monday to all of you lovely people. It is a go home week for another PLE of the WWE variety. This week we are heading towards the big kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Hopefully everyone is safe who goes out there, dealing with real world issues and all that, but this isn't the place to talk about those real world issues. We're here to talk about the fake the fake fighting that is professional wrestling. So, welcome to all of our returning viewers. Hopefully, you guys are again having a good start to your week. If you're new here, well, who are these two lovely gentlemen on your screen right now? Well, of course, as always, I am your reigning, defending, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Watkins here, giving you the guiding tour that is Monday nights in the Raw, on the red brand and all that. But of course, I'm never alone in this endeavor, for you see, I have a lovely gentleman right here to my left. He is known on this channel as the genius of the mat. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Drop This Box. Drop, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. I'm happy we're finally done with these tournament matches. Not saying I didn't enjoy them, but I was really looking forward to seeing who was going to come out on top towards the end to, see what happens this weekend. Because, I mean, I can't lie. I know we're normally, not really into these Saudi shows, but I have to give them credit. The card doesn't look bad. Like, Cody versus Randy, can't complain about that. Jade versus Asuka. Asuka that probably has a legitimate chance to actually stop Jade just because of the kind of wrestler she is. And just looking at how she would work alongside somebody like that is pretty interesting. Karrion Kross finally getting a match against Sami Zayn. I mean, we've advocated to see more Karrion Kross. And I don't know, it just looks like a good card. But again, like a lot of people have been saying online, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now, especially when it comes to travel to get there, because I know they tend to leave a couple days early. So I'm hoping and I'm praying, everything goes good. If it was up to me, I wouldn't have the talent go, but
no, not at all. I would be like, hey, Chicago, you guys open this weekend? Because we got an event that we would like to hold. Just have the Saudi princess come here. It's fine. Just come to America, come to Chicago, have a good time. Get the front row seats. You'll still have your seats and all that, but I get it because of money and all that. I just again, like we said, hopefully everybody's safe that goes out there. I know they have like some production members out there already. Like they were being held at Qatar or something, like on their way to the arena and all that. So again, hopefully they're fine to get out there and all that. And yeah, we'll just have to wait later on this week if anything else pops up. Hopefully not, because we have SmackDown and Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. And also, just going to throw this out there too, next week's Raw starts at 6 p.m.
Oh,
I'm not sure why that is, but yeah, so they're starting at 6 p.m. So probably expect our show to start just a little bit earlier. Probably around like 9:15, 9:30 maybe. So stay tuned for that next week. And yeah, let's just kind of get into it. I mean, this was an all right Raw. I'm just gonna go ahead and just throw that out there.
yeah.
It was an all right show. Again, we had our two semifinal matches for King and Queen of the Ring. We had a couple other matches made for Night of Champions. One that was taken off the show for probably the reasons that we had just stated as we were doing our intro here. But let's start right now with our main event, our King of the Ring semifinal match between Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. this was very fun. Again, face versus face, which you can get away with in this day and age, especially with two talents of the caliber of Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. They definitely stored up some finishers, or at least had that meter set on fast at the certain point here at the end. But like, I love how this match kind of ended with that cutter from the top rope
Yeah.
into the crossroads and all that. I thought that was a really great spot, just kind of showing just not only like the desperation within Cody to hit something like that and to hit like these big moves on somebody like Jey, but even just kind of showing how much Jey has leveled up just a little bit, like just beyond some of the moves he was pulling out, and just his resilience, I guess, in this main event match. But also, you know, we had them trading off submission holds as well. Like Cody busts out a Kimura lock, which we get a Brock Lesnar mention on commentary. So that's something to kind of take note of. But yeah, I thought this match was really good. A lot of people online I saw saying, "Oh, this was Jay's best match" and all that. I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, probably, you know, especially if we're going with just this year. But I mean, Jay's had good matches before, singles wise and all that. But yeah, I mean, it's just good to see that Cody brought the best out of Jay, and we're getting the final that we thought we were going to get. Cody versus Randy finally, after what, 3 years that Cody's been back. We're finally getting this match that we've been salivating for. Great kind of setup for the finals too. Like again, like I've said this before. This is the reason I love tournaments. Just like the individual stories going into it, and then to have a final very much like this. I mean, it's just great. Like this is the stuff that I eat up when it comes to like pro wrestling or like an anime tournament arc and all that. But yeah, again, I thought this match was really good, definitely fitting for a semifinal setting. But drop, lay it on me. What do you think of this match and us finally getting Cody versus Randy?
So just the thought of that got me super excited because it's just a match we've been wanting for so long. Because, you know, just touch on it real quick, because obviously we'll dive a little bit more into it on Thursday, and obviously whenever we do our review for the show on Saturday. But it's like, this is a different Cody Rhodes. And if I want to make an example, it's kind of like you have a Pokemon, you train it when it's a baby and it evolves to its final form. Cody Rhodes, all those years ago when he's a part of Evolution, he really wasn't the Cody Rhodes that we see now. And him and Randy, I believe, had a match before. I think it might have been a triple threat. I'm not entirely sure they ever had a one-on-one, because I do recall Randy had a triple threat match against him and DiBiase at WrestleMania, if I'm not mistaken. But it's like,
yeah, it was, yeah.
But it's like one of those things where it's like he's not as experienced as he was now. Now he's a different person. He's evolved. He's honestly one of the guys you always want to see on the ring, because he always puts on good matches. And Randy Orton's known to be that guy too. So it's like you're seeing a different Cody this time, and Randy hasn't touched this Cody. Obviously, Randy knows who Cody is, so when they get in the ring, you're probably going to see similar stuff that we saw with Cody and Jey, where it's like, okay, I know your move. I'm going to counter it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Randy obviously knows that. You even see homage to Cody's moveset whenever he does the power slam, whenever people run towards him. I know that's obviously homage to Randy Orton. So it's like, it's going to be really interesting to see this version of Randy Orton against this version of Cody Rhodes. It's kind of like one of those things you see in movies, really. It's kind of like the sort of Karate Kid sort of thing, where it's like, or just a typical movie or a show or whatever, where you see the student step up against the sensei, and then if they beat the sensei, okay, you get the black belt or whatever prize was in store for you. Like, that's essentially what we're seeing right here. Cody's going up against his sensei right now, and that's going to be really interesting to see that. Obviously, like I alluded to, we'll touch more on that on Thursday and Saturday. But yeah, this was a really good match, and shout out to Seth Rollins as well, because he's another name that also gave Jey a really good match too. But yeah, this was a really good match. These guys knew each other very well. They were able to counter one another, and they were able to, like, you know, tell a good story in the ring when it came to this match itself. It's something I really appreciated, because regardless if this was a Sami Zayn or Cody Rhodes in this ring with Jey, they all have stories with him. So the fact that, you know, these two guys really know each other well, they've been through a lot of shit, they're really close friends, they always have each other's back. Just like how you saw towards the end where Cody, you know, gave props to his boy towards the end of the match, you know, pretty much just a shaking of hands saying, you know, thank you for being here. You know, we had a good performance and everything. But yeah, I really liked this match. It was really good. It was really nice to see what these guys were trying to pull out of their bag of tricks to really win this match. I really liked that cutter that Cody did off the top rope. That was probably one of my favorites. That might have been my favorite spot of the match. I don't know if that was a cutter or was a bulldog. I was a little confused.
Yeah, it was really weird. It was kind of set up as a cutter.
Yeah.
But I could see the bulldog aspect of it. So yeah. I believe it was a cutter though, and I like how Cody always just like kind of one ups each one of his cutters. So like he'll do the basic Cody cutter to try to finish the match. Oh, that didn't work. All right, well let me do the super Cody cutter where he just goes up to the top rope and does it, and then it's just like, oh well that doesn't work. This is a literal super cutter now where now the person is on the top rope. So and that was able to get. I think that was more of what gave him the win. Is just got to hit the crossroads to get the exclamation point on the match. But yeah, so I mean, we can pretty much assume that Cody's gonna beat Orton at Night of Champions to get his shot at Cena at SummerSlam, which leads me to ask this question: how do we get Jey to face Gunther now at SummerSlam? Like, do we do another tournament? Do we do like a battle royal kind of thing? Does he just go out and call out Gunther after the Goldberg match? Like, how do you think we get to Jey and Gunther? Because like they're gonna have another fight, I think, for the title. Like that's almost a given. But how do you think we're gonna get to there?
I'm not sure. Like, what did they do last year when the other guys chose who they wanted to face at SummerSlam?
Well, that's the thing, because no, it was Gunther that won King of the Ring, so he faced Damian Priest at SummerSlam. The other world title match was Cody versus Solo Sikoa, and that was just Solo coming out and be like, "Hey, Cody, I'm trying to be Diet Bloodline rules match at SummerSlam." So yeah, he just kind of called Cody out. So again, it's like he could call Gunther out. That Jey, that is.
Yeah.
He could just call Gunther out, or maybe it could be something where he has to earn it. Maybe it's just a simple number one contenders match. I really don't know.
Yeah, I think it might. I think it might be one of those things. Maybe you'll throw Jey in there. Maybe you could throw like a couple other names in there, Penta or something. I'm not entirely sure as of now. But that could definitely be a possibility. And the other thing I was gonna mention before is like I was gonna comment on the cutter. I mean the bulldog comment I made earlier. The other thing I forgot to mention is I almost thought he was setting up a crossroads on top of there as well.
I did too. Like I thought I was gonna try to maneuver Jey and try to do like a crossroads kind of thing, but I kind of like that it was a cutter. Because it's kind of a shout out to Randy. Be like, hey, Randy, you have your RKO, your version of the cutter. Here's a third version of the cutter from me. Like, kind of like one of those things where it's like, whatever you can do, I can do better. Because like you had mentioned, Cody was doing some power slams, some things that was like very akin to Randy and all that. Kind of, again, just shouting him out, maybe poking the bear a little bit when it comes to, hey, buddy, I'm coming for you. I mean, I thought this was a great match. I think, after Saturday we can talk about like King of the Ring tournament overall, just to see how the final match goes and all that. But honestly, I don't have anything else beyond just like how Jey possibly gets to Gunther after he's done with Goldberg, which we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. Anything else you wanted to add with this?
Probably not. Again, like we spoke about before, great match. It was a good main event. I liked everything that was put into this. But I think my next question has to tie into the next match. Nothing bad, but it's a common pattern that I've noticed when it comes to these sort of things. And I mean, if we might as well just get into the queen before I speak on this.
Oh yeah. So yeah, next we have, obviously our Queen of the Ring side of this whole tournament that's going on. We had our final semifinal match for this tournament between Roxanne Perez and Jade Cargill. Now, a little bit of setup here too, because Judgment Day are down a member in Liv Morgan. So we did have a segment here in the back where Finn he tries to get Judgment Day a little hyped up, saying that him and JD apparently have a tag title match next week. So cool, neat. We'll see what happens with that. Dom's apparently injured, so him and AJ aren't having their match now at Night of Champions, which I think is just a way of them writing that match out of Saturday, because one, if not both of them, probably did not want to go over there.
I don't blame them.
Yeah, I don't blame them at all for that. And of course, he hypes up Raquel and Roxanne for whatever they have to do, because hey, Roxanne has this semifinal match and Raquel has to deal with Rhea. We'll touch on the Raquel Rhea stuff here after this Roxanne and Queen of the Ring stuff, because yeah, Roxanne taking on Jade Cargill, their match was fine. I get the story they're playing here where it's this whole cat and mouse kind of game here. Roxanne proving how smart she is in the ring and just how much faster and quicker she is than Jade, and just her overall knowledge of being a wrestler and all that. But unfortunately, Jade's the powerhouse in all this. She's going to outpower Roxanne. She picks up the win. Cool. Great. Match was fine. There were a couple of moments where it's just kind of a few hiccups here and there, but I just kind of chalked that down with just the level of experience between both of them.
Yeah.
Mainly on Jade's part, and again, that's not massive shade towards Jade, but there was at one point when she goes for a boot, she kind of didn't hit Roxanne. Roxanne just kind of sold it anyways, which, fine. Any normal person probably wouldn't have noticed it, but just from watching this weekly and kind of on a review setting of it, you kind of do notice some things like that. But yeah, I mean, it was fine. We're gonna get Jade versus Asuka in the finals. Great. I mean, I have a bit of an Asuka bias, obviously.
Not the only one.
Yeah, and again, that's nothing against Jade at all, but I wouldn't be mad if Jade won. I wouldn't be mad if Asuka won, but yeah, me personally kind of pulling for Asuka here.
Yeah.
But yeah, how do you feel about this finals that we're getting between Asuka and Jade, and who you think might be pulling out the win, where we could be going from this? Because there are plenty of possibilities that we've gotten teased at from the past couple weeks, from both sides too, mainly this week with the Asuka side, but yeah, let me hear what you have to say about the match and all that.
So the match itself, probably the same boat as you. I thought it was an alright match. I think what I could really say about this match itself is I was impressed with how Roxanne was moving around the ring with somebody as the size of Jade, because I kid you not, when I was heading into this match at first, I thought Jade was just going to ragdoll her. And that's no disrespect to Roxanne, because I love her. But I thought that's how it was going to go initially. But I liked how she played smart in this match itself. And I mean, I can't lie, she was actually pretty close a couple times to actually get the win on her. And heading into this match itself, I was rooting for Roxanne, because I mean, there's an easy story to be told right here if it were to go down this direction. Obviously it's not anymore, but actually, well, it still can. But actually no, screw that, because I'm Team Asuka right now. But basically, my initial thought was, if Roxanne were to win, and then she would have gone to SummerSlam to go against Io. I was kind of looking at this as a similar opportunity that Liv had when Rhea was gone, where now that Liv's gone, Roxanne can kind of hog that spotlight and pretty much put her in a position. And then once Liv comes back, that's like an easy story they could tell. Like once she comes back into the frame and she witnesses everything that's going on, you know, looking back at what Finn did, trying to hype everybody up, trying to pretty much take control of things now that the boss isn't there. Because obviously, you know, you gotta figure out what's going on with those tag titles, which we'll talk about in our next segment, and like a couple other things as well. So I thought, you know what, that would be an easy story for her and everything. But yeah, Jade ended up winning, and I'm Team Asuka, to be honest with you. And the thing that I was alluding to before that I'll say now that I noticed is a common trend, and this happens with the Royal Rumble, this happens with the Elimination Chamber, and I know this happened last year with King and Queen of the Ring, and it's just like a typical WWE 101 thing. The thing I was going to mention is they normally have one Raw superstar and one SmackDown superstar always win these sort of things. Like you had with the Royal Rumble, Jey won the Royal Rumble, he's from Raw. Charlotte won SmackDown. Well, Charlotte won the Women's Royal Rumble, she's from SmackDown. And then the Elimination Chamber, you had John Cena. Well, actually, I guess he's like a free agent, doesn't really count. And then you had, what was the woman that won that one?
Blah, 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 blah.
I think it might have.
Shoot. Oh, it was Bianca, wasn't it?
Oh, Bianca. So it's like Bianca won that one and everything. Yeah, it was Bianca.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
And then you had last year's King and Queen of the Ring, where you had Gunther when he was a Raw guy, Nia Jax won, she was a SmackDown girl. So I don't know if it's going to be one of those things where it's like, you know, Cody gets in his position, he's a SmackDown guy, and then you have Jade, she's also a SmackDown girl. So I don't know if they're going to give it to two SmackDown superstars. As Cody, I see more of a chance of just going all the way forward and winning it towards the end. I don't know if just judging on their pattern, because they could just do it anyway, but just judging how they normally do things, which is something I do take in account because they're pretty consistent with it. That's also, I guess, pulling me away from Jade winning the thing, even though she can. But I guess that's also me going back to what I said last week when maybe not last week, when she had that, I think she had a match on Friday, if I'm not mistaken, Jade, I believe.
I can't remember. Look, my memory is very bad sometimes. So
it's basically like one of those things where it's like it's like I said before, I don't know if Naomi's gonna really want her to get close to a title, because Naomi always has the briefcase so she can get to it at any point. I don't know if Naomi really wants to see Jade get a title opportunity, because if I was Naomi, I would want to ruin every chance Jade gets. So I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if Naomi does something snarky and costs Jade and does something else, because you could still get to Jade and Tiffany at SummerSlam if you wanted to, and you could use that same logic for Asuka too if she wants to go after Io if she doesn't win this thing. But I just kind of want to see something like a little bit different, because it's like Io hasn't really been as consistent on television as of late, and you have an easy story you can tell there. Damage Control split apart. They even talked about it on that little promo segment in the back. Like Asuka said, I'm not in Damage Control anymore. I'll see you at SummerSlam. So it's basically one of those things where it's like, okay, let's say hypothetically Asuka wins this thing, then Asuka has a guaranteed shot at Io at SummerSlam. You can easily build a story where you could have the inner turmoil of Damage Control, and then you could put Kairi Sane in a spot where she has to choose sides, which I feel like would be a interesting direction to go down, because she's close to both of them and they've been through a lot of stuff together. And then you would have like Io pulling Kairi's hand and then Asuka pulling the other. There's just a part of me where I want to see something different. Like, I don't want it to be overly predictable, because as much as I love Cody, it's a pretty predictable outcome. Same thing if Jade were to win her match. So if there was a little sprinkle of like unpredictability there, you throw Asuka the bone, especially since she just came back. So you kind of want to give her a little momentum. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's personally, I would just go down that direction of her. I just want to see Asuka and Io at SummerSlam, not on a SmackDown like it was before, so they can get all the time they
Yeah.
want and they can put on a good match because Io saying, this is something we've been wanting to do for quite some time. You have it in the
Mm-hmm.
biggest stage, which is pretty much the second WrestleMania of the year, which is SummerSlam. So sign me up for that. That's definitely a SummerSlam worthy match to me. I hate to say it, Tiffany and Jade sounds like a SmackDown main event.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of does. I mean, well, at least to us, I mean,
Yeah, at
I
least
could
to
see
us.
them being like, yeah, like I could see them being like, oh yeah, put that on the big show because it's Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. It's like cool, great. But I mean that gets into a whole side tangent about how Tiffany Stratton's been handled since and even before
Yep.
WrestleMania. But that's a whole other conversation for a whole other Friday night time.
Oh yeah.
um yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat here. It's like I would much rather have the Oscar Io thing. Even what sucks though is like Io has not defended her title since Mania,
Yeah.
or at least on TV. So it's just like, why? What are we doing with Io anyways? Like, are we maybe we're just waiting for this moment where it's like Asuka wins Queen of the Ring. She's now the Empress of the Ring, if you will,
Yeah.
and like she has a guaranteed shot at SummerSlam, and like you could maybe do a bit of build up where it's like, okay, Io has to defend her title against somebody else before Asuka gets it.
Mhm.
Maybe that's how we insert like a Kyrie Sane. I mean, because that's the thing. Like the money match is Io versus Asuka. So if you throw somebody like Kyrie Sane a bone for like, let's say again, Evolution's happening, Evolution 2, just have like a Kyrie versus Io match there, which I'm not saying, oh, put it on there just so it could be thrown away, because no, they would cook. Uh like, but it's something where it's like, okay, you kind of know that Kyrie's not going to win the match. They'll have
Yeah.
a banger match,
Yep.
but it'll be something to kind of tide over Io before SummerSlam. And again, it doesn't have to be Kyrie either. They could do somebody else that's credible for the world title and all that. Yeah, no, I'm more on Team Oscar, and plus, like, with Jade, again, she can get it a different way, like I'm again in the same boat where it's like Naomi could keep her from winning the tournament, because that's the thing. She's been away from Jade all this time. Like she's been focusing a little bit more on Tiffany with that briefcase and all that, but like she's still kind of petty and she's somebody that's willing to like be like, nah, I don't want this girl anywhere near the title that I want to win.
Hmm.
So like costing Jade that title any chance she can, or even the simple number one contendership of that title.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I could see it totally happening that way.
That's just a
Mm,
typical like villain thing to do. Like a villain
yeah,
always wants to prevent the hero from winning. Like
yeah.
you really think Ganon wants Link to have that Master Sword?
No. Hell no. Hell no. That's why he did everything. That's why he does everything he can in almost any Zelda game to
Yeah.
make sure you can't get it.
Yeah.
Oh, you want this one? Well, too bad. Your sword's broken.
Yeah.
Oh, your shard cut me. Well, too bad. Off to the past it goes. Can't use that anymore.
Yeah.
Hmm. Ah, man. But like, from Jade's side though, like we should probably talk about Roxanne's side too, because there were people that thought that she could make it to the finals and she
Yeah.
could possibly win.
Yeah.
You had alluded to like the whole thing of like her taking up Liv's spot and like kind of one upping Liv a little bit, and I think we got a little bit of tease of that tonight at least, but unfortunately it's not going with the world title of it. It's all going towards the tag titles, which fine, I guess. Um It's something to do for the women's tag titles at least, but yeah,
Yeah.
well, basically what I'm getting to here is like this happens later on in the night where Raquel actually does go out to the ring and calls Rhea Ripley out. They kind of have a fight, and Roxanne comes out to kind of back up Raquel, and they
Mm.
put Rhea through a table, and we get a street fight set for Night of Champions this coming Saturday. So I guess that's taking up part of the spot of like Dom versus Finn going into Night of Champions. But at the end of that beatdown, Raquel does go by Roxanne and helps her up and gives her like a little hug and all that. So like the friction that was there beforehand might be dissipating a little bit. It might be going away. We might be seeing that whole concept of, hey, um, Liv's gone. I got these tag titles. Let me talk to Pierce. You could be my partner for a bit. And whether that leads to them losing it to, God forbid, the Bella twins, like we were probably leading up to for Evolution. I mean,
Yeah.
that can just add more to the story with Liv and all that. Cause like Roxanne could, I mean, as much as it pains me to say this, Roxanne could take the pin in all this, take the loss, and it's like, oh, well, you took my spot, you lost me my title. The fuck, you know? Um, but what are your thoughts on just like this growing predicament when it comes to the Judgment Day?
Um, I'm very curious to see how this is going to turn out because I feel like they have all the time in the world to really push the needle when it comes to this storyline now. Now that Liv is out of the picture, because I feel like this is probably what Finn was waiting for all along. And
Hmm.
keep in mind, obviously, we weren't expecting her to get injured. That things like that just happen in the ring. But it's like you look at what happened at this very moment. She's not around. Finn can use it as advantage to brainwash people and start to have them be on the same page as him. And I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if you end up having like Raquel and Roxanne getting close little by little, and then maybe their
Hmm.
way of not vacating those championships, Raquel ends up giving the other one to Roxanne because they can't say they haven't done that before because they clearly did that with Bianca and Naomi when they were doing that whole Jade storyline. So it's not like that's the
Yeah.
first time they were ever to visit something like that. It could easily be one of those scenarios where it's like Finn gets what he wants in the end, Raquel and Roxanne get close and everything, and then Liv just comes back and just everything's just all over the place and she doesn't really know what to say
Hmm.
beyond that point. And then you don't know what Dom's gonna say, like whatever things take off even further. You never know where his mindset's gonna be. So that's why I stated earlier. It's like left, even though Roxanne didn't win the semifinal, she still has a clear direction of what she could possibly do, and that's probably with the tag titles and whatever's
Hmm.
happening beyond that. And I feel like it would just be a good opportunity to really get her up there because they're obviously high on her. That's why she's involved with them to begin with. That's why she has people like Finn helping her in situations like this to help get her over. And with Liv gone, that probably would be like the best thing for her. And plus,
Hmm.
Rhea's mixing it up with Raquel now, so it's not like she's going after any world titles at the moment either. So you kind of have like something different for a little bit. So it'd be
Yeah.
very interesting to see how things turn out because it has been something I've been invested on when it comes to those backstage segments that we get on Raw.
Hmm. Plus, Judgment Day got their PlayStation 5 back, so that's great. They had 2K up again. So I'm like, oh, that's great, guys. Either they bought a new one or Carlito ended up just dropping it off for them. Cool, great, awesome. Uh, and also when it comes to Finn, like again, he was kind of taking charge again tonight, where he was lifting everybody up. Again, saying, "Hey Dom, don't worry. Once you get cleared, you'll teach AJ Styles his lesson. JD, you and I going for the tag titles. Roxanne, you got your thing going on." And I like how like he tried to throw shade at Raquel a little bit, but he was able to kind of gaslight her and be like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to get out of you. Go ahead and go take care of Rhea. Because, like, Raquel and Finn are still kind of butting heads a little bit, but depending on how the story goes here moving forward, it could be a thing where she kind of comes around to Finn, or it's like, oh, Finn, you were wrong this whole time, and Liv's gonna be mad when she comes back. Like, it could go either both ways, and I would be fine with it. Yeah, so again, our finals for the Queen of the Ring, Asuka versus Jade. For the men's side, we got Cody versus Randy. Both are going to be cool, both are going to be fun. And of course, Raquel and Rhea are going to have a street fight at Night of Champions. So
Yeah.
hopefully, this is a good chance for Raquel to show out again, because I remember they had a match on NXT. I believe it was for the NXT Women's Championship.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong with that one,
Yeah.
but I think it was a street fight there too, which was really good. So hopefully Raquel's able to show out there, because she needs something. Just like what Finn said, just remind us why you're the heavy of the group. But yeah, let's go ahead now. Speaking of heavy things, and we're gonna transition to big meaty men bumping meat for the World Heavyweight title. Goldberg taking on Gunther at Saturday night's main event on July 12th. So we had two parts here. We had a sit-down interview with Michael Cole with Goldberg, and we had Gunther responding to all of this in the ring. Goldberg, really, he's just justifying why he's back and why he's going after Gunther. It's exactly what we thought. Him being at the, what was it? It was Bad Blood that was in Georgia last time.
Yeah.
He was just there with his family, trying to have a good time. For once, he's not having to wrestle and all that. So it's just like, oh, great. Let's just have a nice, relaxing time. They'll show me on camera. I'll go do a little growl and all that. Get maybe like $50,000 just from doing that. It's great. It's a fantastic time. Unfortunately, Gunther had to come out, verbally assault me, embarrass me in front of my family, and yeah, I'm gonna beat the shit out of him at Saturday night's main event. And one thing that Michael Cole, he said this as the interview was over, like he was saying this to the camera, that apparently after the interview he had mentioned to Goldberg, hey, you say this is going to be your last match. Is that so? And Goldberg says, yes, like, this will be my last match in wrestling. Like, this is my retirement match. But then Michael Cole had to be like, well, what happens if you win the title? And Goldberg's just like, well, that'd be an interesting dilemma, wouldn't it? And I'm just sitting here like, no, it would not be an interesting dilemma, because then you would have to continue on, but whatever. Gunther responds later on, did a lot of thinking on what it means to be next. Means, eating a spear, eating a jackhammer, 1, 2, 3, you're done in like 3 minutes. But hey, it's 2025, it's not 1999 anymore. He's the guy, he's the best in the company. Nothing's going to change that fact that Goldberg is a 58-year-old man, and he's a one-trick pony that can't even lace my boots. And he apologizes to Goldberg's family for what he's about to do to the man, the myth, the legend known as Goldberg, because it's his responsibility to kill that character off. Strong promo from Gunther, I thought. Great way to kind of revitalize his character a little bit, because, yeah, ever since the Jey stuff, he had that moment where he basically murdered Jimmy and all that. But Gunther's hit or miss when it comes to the intensity anymore. So I'm glad he's got somebody like Goldberg to really bounce off of, like somebody as intimidating as Goldberg for Gunther to just absolutely destroy. But basic back and forth here, even though they weren't face to face. I'm assuming we're going to get another face to face either next week or the week after. But what do you think about everything, from like the sit-down interview with Michael Cole and Goldberg to Gunther's response? Because again, I thought Gunther was I think he came out really strong in this segment. But go ahead and talk to me. What did you think of everything?
So I know the thing about Goldberg, because I did see something online earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
It said that he's supposed to be at every Raw moving forward outside of the Pittsburgh show. leading
Yeah.
up to Saturday night's main event. So he's going to be on every show moving forward. So I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest. Probably the next time we see him, like after the Pittsburgh show, we'll probably end up seeing him and Gunther in the ring having a promo segment or like something happening between those guys. But it's like you said, we expected this to happen because you had that whole thing at Bad Blood. They ignored it for a little bit, but they eventually went back to it. And when we found out about the reports of him wanting to have a retirement match, we kind of got that little light bulb in our head. We're like, yeah, this is probably the guy he wants to go after because there's unfinished business there. And like he said, he embarrassed him in front of his family and all those sort of things. So it's like, typical Goldberg thing there. He just wants to beat the shit out of him because that's just how he is. He just wants to push him around, do what he can possibly can to see if he can win that title. And then you had Gunther coming out pretty much, staying confident like he's been, honestly, ever since he came across Goldberg at that Bad Blood pay-per-view last year, where he was pretty much saying, I'll give you the best 3 to 4 minutes of your life. That's like an ongoing meme that Gunther did ever since he first came across him. But it's like, because like Gunther is somebody to be intimidated by in the company because of how destructive he can be. I mean, you put somebody like Taizawa or whoever in there that's not as experienced by him, or just people that talk the talk, but then once they get in the ring with Gunther, they end up getting their ass handed to him. I mean, he's not wrong with a lot of things he said. So like, I don't blame him for saying, it's 2025 now. I'm the guy. These are the people look at me to be like, that guy that just rips people to shreds, puts on these tough fights, which we have seen before. People like Drew McIntyre and Sheamus and Ilya Dragunov back in the NXT UK days, even with like Bron Breakker before, Cody Rhodes. Like, he's put on like a lot of great matches, so we know how great of a wrestler this guy is, and he is considered one of the best in the company. I completely agree with that. But yeah, nothing's gonna change when it comes to Goldberg, because like as soon as these guys get in the ring, I mean, you'll see Goldberg like do a couple things like the spear, the jackhammer, whatever the case may be, and then you'll eventually get to that point where Gunther either does the power bomb, or honestly, it would probably be played on the timeline for years on end if he actually has Goldberg passed out. People would just use that as a meme moving forward. Like that's sort of what I'm waiting for. Like it's either one of those things, and I mean, he's gonna give him the best 3 to 4 minutes of his life, like he said. So the fact that he gave an apology early and said, I'm sorry for what I'm about to do to you. I mean, this is what's gonna happen. I mean, I'm gonna kill the myth off of Goldberg. I'm gonna finally put you into retirement, which I honestly feel like is best just for the Gunther character as a whole, because regardless how you feel about Goldberg, him getting a win over Goldberg is pretty huge considering the kind of legacy that Goldberg has had like many years ago when it came to how destructive he is. Because the thing about Goldberg is that Goldberg wasn't always known to be that kind of guy to put on like these 5-star matches or to go 15 to 20 minutes in the ring at like a WrestleMania or whatever kind of match it is. He's always been built to be that kind of guy where he's like super strong and he'll just kick your ass. Like that's essentially what the guy is. So if he manages to get a win over him, regardless if he's 58 years old or whatever the case may be, I just feel like it would just benefit Gunther in the long run. So this was our little build up here for the World Heavyweight Championship at Saturday night's main event. And honestly, you don't have to worry about commercials with this because Goldberg matches aren't really that long, so you should be able to see most of it, I would hope.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, we should be able to see all of it. Like, entrance and all too. Like, I mean,
hopefully he doesn't bang his head.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Bloody it up again.
Goldberg, please don't give yourself a concussion before the match. Like,
didn't they do that against
Gunther,
Brock?
No, it was against Undertaker.
Oh, okay.
Because it was the Saudi show. Because what happened was he gave himself the concussion before the match because like he banged his head on the door of the locker room to like kind of hype himself up, and then he gets out there And then apparently he gets another concussion when Undertaker moves out of the way of a spear and he hits his head on the pole.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, it was a messy time. Everybody, don't look up. I think it was like a crown jewel or something. Like,
Oh,
don't look it up. Like, it's not a good match. It's not a good time. He almost kills the Undertaker by botching a freaking jackhammer.
oh
But
boy, that man.
yeah. And also, just to make a quick note too, so next week's Raw again is at 6 p.m. Apparently, they're doing that because they're doing a double taping of SmackDown as well afterwards, because they're giving everybody off July 4th.
Oh wow, I keep forgetting like how fast this.
Yeah, yeah, it's already the end of June, dude. Like,
Oh, okay, that makes. I mean, that's nice. That's nice.
it is.
Oh wait, the 4th
Just
is
means,
on a Friday. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't
Oh
know
yeah,
that.
dude.
Okay. Oh, okay. I
Yep.
see it now. Okay.
Yeah. It's also apparently going to be a 2-hour SmackDown. Go team. So
That's
yeah,
funny. The first SmackDown coming back is a
yeah.
taped one.
Yep. You know what? It makes me happy. It makes
Yeah.
me happy because 2 hours. 2 hours. Thank you. Thank you. Stay tuned if we're going to be covering that though. I don't know if I'm going to be out and about or not.
Oh yeah.
Depends on the holiday. So stay tuned everybody. It might just be a yeah, well, just stay tuned. But let's continue onwards because again, very basic show of Monday Night Raw. Very basic mid-card title defense here with the women's IC championship with Becky Lynch defending against Bayley. Now, we had a couple backstage segments leading up to this where we have one with Lyra wishing Bayley good luck in their match and she's trying to like say there's no bad blood between the two. Bayley kind of snaps back at her, but it's mainly cuz she's focusing on defeating Becky, but I like how like we have Becky in the back see this going down, and she's like, "Oh hell no," because she remembers what happened with like the whole damage control stuff with Bayley and all that. So she's kind of she thinks they're conspiring against her, and she doesn't even do a backstage interview with I think it's Jackie Redmond trying to interview and all of that. So the match happens. I thought it was an excellent match between the two. I mean, they do have good chemistry with each other, and plus they're just really good in the ring. Um, the one spot that kind of had me go, oh no, Bayley, I hope you're all right. It was right before commercial break where Becky like kind of pulled her arm onto the turnbuckle and all that. That was it's a scary spot, so I'm just glad it was pulled off quite well.
Oh yeah.
But the ending stages of this match. So Becky throws Bayley through like over the announce table and she's trying to like win by DQ, cool, neat, whatever. Lyra ends up coming out and she kind of gets in Becky's face here. And Becky's like goading her to hit her, like, oh, come on, hit me. Like, and Lyra's like, no, because I'm smart. I'm not gonna hit you so you can just get a DQ win. I'm just gonna let this play out. Jumps down and all that. Bayley tries to get back in the ring. There's a baseball slide that hits Lyra, and Bayley ends up wailing on Becky, like just destroying her on the outside. She goes up for a diving elbow, hopefully to finish the match. And then Lyra just rolls into the ring and starts punching Becky for the DQ. So Becky ends up winning the title match. Well, granted, winning by DQ, but she escapes with her title. Bayley and Lyra end up like I don't know, man. Like we had a little bit of a discussion, folks, in our Discord, when this happened. I'm not really a fan of how we're getting to the triple threat, because this kind of made Lyra look a little silly. Where it's like, okay, no, I'm not gonna punch you, but I'm gonna punch you to force the GQ. Like, and I think what happened was like it was the rolling back into the ring to beat up on Becky. I think because like and you and I seem to have had the same idea of what might have been going on. because it's like, you have this fight between Bayley and Lyra happening where like they're both yelling at each other outside the ring. It's like, oh, what are you doing out here? Get out of like my business and all that. And I thought it was going to be like a little shoving contest where it's like, okay, uh, both are very hot-headed right now, and Bayley could just shove Lyra, and Lyra's just like done with that. She shoves Bayley, gives Bayley a DQ win over the IC champion, and that in turn makes Becky be like, "Hey, no, you made me lose my match, and you didn't need to be involved in this." So like, it it would have been a good, at least in my mind, bit of a better way to set up the triple threat. I mean, I'm looking forward to the triple threat. Like, I think it's gonna be one of the best matches probably at that Evolution pay-per-view, at least for right now. Um, but I don't know. Talk to me. Like, what did you think of the match? The finish? Um, yeah, it just leaves a weird taste in my mouth. How they got here. Like, it's not by far the worst thing, but it's just like, we could have done this a little different.
So the match itself I thought was really good because I was really happy just to see Bayley back. And I also want to comment her on her outfit. I really like that outfit that she had when she came out.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're giving new outfits to people when they come out of their entrances, maybe we could tweak entrance music. Maybe we can fix that. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier, since I'm on the topic of that, apparently they tweaked Asuka's theme a tidbit. I don't know if you noticed that. I didn't notice it until someone pointed. Apparently, it's like something like a little bit of like the instrumental in there in the beginning, but I didn't really notice. It's kind of like here, what's his name, Malachi's. You don't really notice. Like there is like a little remix, but you don't really notice. So it's just one of those things that just goes past your head. But shout out to that outfit she had on. I thought she looked really good on an outfit. I like the purple hair and everything with her. Yeah, this was an excellent match because, I mean, Bayley and Becky been in the game for a while. They obviously know each other. This is the first time that they competed against one another. And it was really nice to see both of them in the ring. It was really nice to see them just tear each other to threads because obviously there's a story here when it comes to the history that they've had ever since, Bayley came into the picture and tried ruining Becky's life when Damage Control was first formed, and just how manipulative Bayley was all those years ago, and then looking at how things are now. It's just really interesting to see, like, it's like the exact opposite now, where you're seeing these characters in a different setting, just, fighting for the top prize in the mid-card division, which, again, is nice because these are two big names going after that title. It's not like two people that aren't established yet. These two ladies are established, they're future Hall of Famers. So this, just their names around this belt is really nice to see because it shows how important it is, which I'm hoping and I'm praying we do that with the US title for the ladies on SmackDown. Please do something with that.
Please. Maybe
even have a program of Charlotte and Alexa fighting over that thing in the future to give it some special flair or whatever. But the match itself, I can't say anything more. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a little funny. We had that little moment where Becky was like piling all that shit on Bayley.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
I thought she was gonna at first I thought Bayley was gonna pull out of it like at the last second, because I wasn't expecting Lyra to show up here. If I'm being honest, like I didn't expect her to show up. Like I thought it was just gonna be that little segment or whatever. And then whatever happened beyond this point, you would probably see her again before the night ended or something, or maybe she came out towards the end. But yeah, Lyra got involved here because obviously, you kind of want to keep her involved with Becky and Bayley, only because I think we talked about this last week, where it would feel a little weird if we just shifted away from her, just out of the blue. It's like, okay, Bayley's back, which is focused on Becky and Bayley. So I like how she's still involved here because it does make sense to have her around these two people. But it's like, we talked about on the chat, like when I looked at this, because I'm just so like immune to how they do shit nowadays.
Yeah.
When I saw her like go in the ring and start wailing at her and stuff, I'm like, okay, this is how they're going to get to this match, because it's just those WWE 101 things where it's like, the baby face says the baby face. Kind of like how we talk about promos with certain baby faces, like, oh, they just say the most typical stuff every single time, and they just play nicey all the time. They don't like switch things up. not like a Tiffany Stratton who's a babyface that just doesn't hesitate at the slightest to fucking have blood pour over your face over a head a chair shot. But
Oh my god.
but yeah, you had Lyra get involved here. She was wailing on Becky because of the baseball slide that happened outside of when she was around the ring, and she took out her frustration. And at first, when they had the first moment where she was arguing with the ref, she's like, you know what, okay, I'm gonna calm down. Because at first when I did see her, even though I said I wasn't expecting her, when I saw her there, it's like, okay, she wants to help her get to the ring and everything because of what happened. Okay, that's fine. She has a little dispute with Becky. Okay, we sort of expected that because there's unfinished business there. But yeah, everything afterwards, it was a dumb babyface move, but it's just things that the company loves to do. But I would assume this leads to a triple threat match or whatever. So obviously, I would think next week you'll probably get promo segment maybe in the middle of the ring of Bayley venting out her frustration or whatever, because one of the things that I've noticed, like outside of like Becky and Bayley, is Lyra seems like she has something that she's keeping inside herself too. Like I don't think like Bayley coming back saying, she just wants to focus on what's in front of her right now. I don't think that's the only thing, because I just noticed like her body language like around Bayley as of late has been a little different.
Because like she's trying to play nice, but also like, because that's the thing, like Bayley's also trying to do that too, but she's also trying to also think for herself too. That's why like last week you had that comment from Bayley being like, okay, I'm trying to just do what's best for myself, and Lyra listened to that and she's like, yeah, but that's at the expense of me. But you know what? Fine. You know what? After next week, I'll do what's best for myself as well then. So, yeah, they're just both kind of like, they want to get in each other's way, but they're also trying to respect each other in a way. Which is fine. You want your baby faces to respect, other people and all that. Well, I mean, depends on the character too and all that. But yeah, Lyra's holding back a little bit, and I think like either after next week or maybe even during the triple threat, she might just unleash her fury, her Raven fury, if you will, on Bayley and all that. So, yeah, it's one of those things like you said, you kind of get desensitized a little bit with WWE. It's one of those just eye roll moments, like, oh, here we go again. All right, fine. Like, yeah, it could have been better, but like it's not like something that I'm gonna sit here and be like start yelling at about. It's just like, oh, all right, well, here's our WWE trope. Cool, great, awesome, fantastic.
Vince had a lot of fun with that back in 2019.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, good example. Because I'm just gonna bring it up, even though it's very haunting. You have a Hell in a Cell match between Seth Rollins and The Fiend, you get disqualified. How the fuck does that make sense?
Well, look, it's because cartoon hammers are worse than real hammers.
Yeah.
Like, that's the worst part of it.
I never understood that. I don't know if they ever explained why you got disqualified in a non-disqualification match.
Well, how they try to describe it. They try to twist it in a way where it's just like, oh, referee's discretion. But at the same time, it's just like, that's also stupid, because look at what happened in other Hell in a Cell matches. Like,
far worse.
God, I want to say it was like a year or two before that. Whenever that one with, or maybe it was the same night with Jeff and Randy, when Randy put that screwdriver through like Jeff's little ear.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, why didn't the ref stop that?
Yep.
And I mean, the go-to that everyone uses for that, it's like, oh, well, what about Mick Foley then? He was tossed off of a freaking cell twice.
Yeah.
And they still went through the match. Well, on one hand, that's the 90s, but on the other hand, it's freaking Hell in a Cell. But
even Shane did that when he went up against Undertaker that one WrestleMania. He went for like that. He jumped off and then Taker repositioned himself.
Yeah, like why didn't the match end there? You know? Oh, what about New Day versus Usos, where like I think it was
That's an
Xavier.
iconic one.
He was like stuck in like the corner with like the kendo sticks blocking him and all that. Why didn't the match stop there? Guy can't move, you know? Like we could be here all night doing all that, but like that's just the stupid shit that WWE used to do. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know, when they do things like this, it's like again, it's just like one of those eye roll moments like, "Oh, all right, well, this is how we're going to do it. Okay, fine, whatever." You know, like it's just a trope,
Yeah.
which fine. You know, tropes are fine. Just depends on how they're executed. This
Yep.
one just it could have been better. But leads us to our last big talking point, where we have Bron Breakker taking on Penta tonight. But this is obviously something with two parts to it. Besides just the match itself, we had Seth Rollins and his group of merry men who still do not have a name, so please give us a name sooner rather than later. Okay, thanks, bye. But Seth starts this night off and he's asking the crowd what we want. And he keeps going through like different catchphrases, different things that like the crowd's gonna chant, like chanting for the OTC, chanting for CM Punk, singing his song, barking for Bron Breakker and all that. But unfortunately, we don't know what we want, which is why we need Seth to guide us. And he starts going on this spiel about how everything we want is because of Seth. We wanted CM Punk back. Well, because of Seth's hatred for CM Punk, the company's like, we can make money off of that. Hire him back. Seth kind of was responsible for Roman Reigns and all that. Not only just being a single star, but becoming the tribal chief and all that stuff. Like it eventually bled from Seth Rollins and all that. And just a plethora of other things I could have mentioned as well. But he's basically just taking credit for everything that we like and enjoy in wrestling right now. And all these people are great champions. He starts mentioning like John Cena. He does mention CM Punk too in that aspect of everything, and mentions the finalists of the King of the Ring tournaments and all this stuff. But like he finishes it off by basically hyping up the whole Money in the Bank briefcase and the contract in it, and saying that that's the finish line, and it will always be Seth freaking Rollins because right now, excuse me, right now he's the Money in the Bank briefcase holder. He's the one with all the power now. Because at the end of the day, whether it's Cody versus John, whether it's Jey versus Gunther, or any other amalgamation of it, no matter what that outcome is, and I love how he said this too, they're all in the running for second place because it's all about me and Seth Rollins. Like, as basic as this promo could have come off as, I thought it was done really well because again, Seth's kind of spitting here because like, especially the moment where like he's talking about the crowd chants because he's like, you guys chant CM Punk, the crowd starts chanting CM Punk. The crowd starts chanting OTC after he mentions that. They start singing his song. They start barking for Bron Breakker. Like, Seth Rollins is not wrong in some of the things he's talking about. And that's the whole vision he has. That's why he is this architect and all that. And honestly, to me, this is why he probably shouldn't change his music. Because his whole hero character is about having the power, having the control. And for him to keep that music, to keep having people sing his song, that just adds to his control. That just adds to his character of being like, I have all the power. These people that keep wanting to sing, chant, whatever they want to, I'm part of that. And I am the final I almost said final boss.
Oh boy.
I am at the I don't know where I'm going at with that, but basically, like he's gonna be at the top. He is the number one because he is Seth freaking Rollins. Again, I thought this opening promo was really good, just hyping up all that. I just wish we had a name for his group, but that might come when we get this rumored fourth person in there. I don't know. But what do you think of this promo segment before this match with Bron Breakker and Penta? Some of the stuff Seth was alluding to. Again, he's not he's picking his spot with the Money in the Bank briefcase, which he should.
Yeah.
But I like how he's using that for this new version of his character, being like, this is the finish line. No matter what, no matter who wins all these tournament matches or title matches, it doesn't matter because I have the thing that's really gonna matter until I use it. Because you're basically just fighting to decide who's gonna lose their title to me. Yeah, what did you think of the promo segment?
So I really enjoyed this because it's like you said, Seth's always been the kind of person who wants to have that power within his hands. And even when we were discussing about Money in the Bank, a lot of us were saying, yeah, this is a little bit predictable if it went down this direction, but at the same time, it would make sense because it just fits the whole narrative with whatever Steph's trying to do. Because regardless who wins King of the Ring, I mean, that's all up to Seth because Seth can just easily take that moment away from them if they end up winning their respectable title matches at SummerSlam. So if Cody ends up winning against John, if he wanted to, not saying that Seth will go after that title, but if he wanted to and the option was there, he could easily take that title. Or whatever Gunther's doing at SummerSlam, he could easily take that title because that was his mission statement. So I like how, he's talking a lot of sense here because that's the whole reason why he's known to get all these fancy nicknames. That's why he's known to be very smart and collective when it comes to the kind of decisions that he makes. And that's also why he has somebody like Paul Heyman by his side, because Paul Heyman probably knows when the moment's right. Seth probably knows when the moment's right. So they're just waiting for that opportunity to be there. So I do like how he's making a lot of sense here. I do agree with what you said. We need a name here when it comes to this group because I really want to put them in the title of our streams or in like the thumbnail text or the thumbnails. I can't ever do it because when we type and we talk about them, we have to mention them by name or like by their last name or something. If we talked about the Revolution, which I don't think it's going to be that name, but if they had like a nickname like that, we just refer to them as that, would be so much easier to like talk about them instead of saying, oh, Braun, and then Braun. Like, oh, which Braun? Is it the BRON or BRAUN? Like, which one are we talking about here? But yeah, he's right. I mean, him being Mr. Money in the Bank, he'll always be who he is because, I mean, look at the moment he created when he cashed it in the first time. I'm expecting him to create another monumental moment when he does it the second. So I really do like this. I like how he's really in control. And it just also goes to show as well, like how the crowd just chants whatever they want. Like the whole CM Punk thing, John, or something with John Cena, or like Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, etc. So on. Like they just chant for whoever they want. And I'm also wondering who this like supposed theme song is supposed to come around to, because we talked about it on Grappling with the Week when it came to like, oh yeah, Seth's supposed to be getting this new theme song soon. It's supposed to be from a mainstream artist, which I would assume he had some input in that because he's a top guy, and I'm pretty sure, they want this whole faction to be taken seriously and everything. And you even have like Limp Bizkit possibly working with Bron Breakker, which is pretty fucking crazy in itself.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you obviously want to have some special things to do with this. And I do know some people mentioned about the whole thing of his current song, how people, sing his name, but at the same time, like you said, that's just part of being in control. Like that's just the whole thing. It's like if you're a god of something, if you ever seen a god from like a video game, cartoon, whatever the case may be, the gods, they always like having the world in the palm of their hand where they can control and manipulate anything that they possibly can do. And that's pretty much what Seth's trying to do. He's trying to carve his own path, and he's trying to dig that hole even further so he can eventually find that treasure. So I did like this opening segment. It was nice to hear from him, and I am very curious to see when we'll touch on this whole LA Knight and Seth Rollins program, because I saw a report saying that Seth and Knight are going to be a thing, which they obviously are now, but I'm wondering whenever they're going to have that match. Like I get Knight not being here because you can't show up on Monday Night Raw after you get Tsunami 3 times. That wouldn't make any sense. CM Punk got one that one time and he showed up, so Yeah, that's
Yeah.
understandable. But LA Knight, he got 3 SNMEs, so maybe he's off TV. Maybe after Night of Champions, and it's like I think we
Maybe.
talked about this earlier. You said Saturday Night's main event or something. You could have that
Yeah.
happening there.
Yeah, like they could do it there. He could always maybe come back at Saturday Night's main event. Like maybe Seth has a, because I mean that's the thing. Seth did yell at Penta
Oh
tonight,
yeah, that is
so it
true.
could be a thing where it's like, okay, we're gonna have Seth versus Penta at, which I mean, huh, you really want to tickle my pickle? Yeah, give me Seth versus Penta. Um,
Imagine him
but I mean,
countering a stomp of a Mexican destroyer.
God, give it to me. That's all
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. Just give me that.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, it could be a thing where it's like, okay, LA Knight returns, maybe cost Seth that match, or he comes back like maybe the Raw after that, because it
Yeah.
could be a thing where this is like the SummerSlam match for Seth, because it's like
I want to be
when you
against
sit
it.
down and think about it, yeah, like what is Seth gonna do? What is Seth and or LA Knight gonna do at SummerSlam? Like, why not have that be the program then? Mm.
I want to be
But
against that in the slightest. That's a pretty big
oh, me
moment for
either.
LA Knight there.
Yeah, it's a big stage, but I mean, both men are big superstars and
Oh
all that.
yeah.
So like, yeah, just give them the big stage like that. Let them go at it and all that. But in terms of going at it, with Braun Breaker taking on Penta, like the match, like very physical match between the two. I mean, they've faced each other in the past, on WWE TV, and yeah, I mean, Penta pulling out all the stops, a Mexican Destroyer isn't enough to put Braun Breaker away, but a midair spear is able to put Penta away, and I love how Penta sells this. Like, I love people selling Braun Breaker spears. Like, it literally like broke them in half. So yes, that's how you sell a spear very nicely, and that's where we get this part with Seth, like going up to Penta at the ring, like he's not attacking him or anything. He's just like, hey, stay out of our way. This is your one warning. So, I mean, at least Seth is warning him once. I'll say that. Um, but this does frustrate Penta enough. Later on, we see where he actually attacks Chad Gable, who's getting into his face. We
Oh,
see
here we
Ludwig
go.
Kaiser in the back, kind of like looking on and all that. So, hey, welcome back to TV, Ludwig Kaiser. So, I mean, I guess we might be going down the Chad Gable uh, I don't want to say vortex yet because I mean
Oh boy.
that is what it is. But I mean, maybe this is how we get the Lucha Bros together. Take on the Creeds. Maybe
Hmm.
um, that could be where we're going down with this because it's like Penta could face them by himself, but he might need some backup and all that. Hell, throw freaking Dragon Lee in there too.
Yeah.
What's he doing? Like he's well, what they were on Evolve the other week. The LWO.
Oh yeah, they were.
Yeah, so I mean, just have the
Well,
tag team down there and Dragon Lee. You Ray Phoenix and Penta take on not Alpha Academy, the American Made. That'll be fun. But yeah, I thought the match was really good. Because again, I mean, look at it on paper. It's Penta versus Braun Breaker. You know what you're gonna get. And it was really good. But what did you think of the match?
the match was a banger. I mean, it was
Yeah,
very. I
I
knew as
like.
soon. I knew as soon as these guys went in the ring, they were just going to be full on physical because that's just how they are. Like Bron Breakker is
Yeah.
known to be very physical. Penta's always known to do a lot of these explosive moves that we always see whenever he's in the ring, and
Hmm.
I was just expecting nothing less from this. Like I like the Frankensteiner that Bron Breakker did. It's just always cool to see him do that. I love when Penta, at least when he's able to attempt it to finish off matches, he's able to hit the
Hmm.
Mexican Destroyer, which that might is that like his second finisher? Because I know he still does the Penta Driver. It's not like they said
Yeah.
you can't do that anymore. Because I saw it recently, but I know it's
Yeah.
common for superstars to have more than one finisher. They never said you can
Yeah.
have one.
It's kind of to me. I kind of see it how like AJ has both the Styles Clash and the Phenomenal Forearm.
Yeah,
It's like, okay, you could end it with the Styles Clash, but oh, if that's not enough, time to pull out the Phenomenal Forearm, or like I guess maybe in AEW terms, it would be like, okay, Will Ospreay using the hidden blade. Wait, that's not enough. Well, all right. How about the Tiger Driver? Boom, done,
Yep.
donezo. So it could just be a thing like that, because
Yeah.
that's the thing. The Penta Driver, that's a sick move.
Yeah, I
Like
like
that
when he
is
does that.
oh, same here. But that's one of those ones where it's like that's the exclamation point in the match. Like that is your super finisher, if you will, in 2K terms, I guess.
And
Uh
and Braun was able to hit a good spear on him too, because I think he
yeah, he
was
was.
what was he trying to do, like a crossbody from the top rope,
I
and then
think
he
so.
hit him
Yeah,
with
like
that midair spear. That was really nasty.
yeah, he was. I think he was trying to do like a springboard crossbody, but yeah, and that's one thing I've been meaning to bring up about Braun spears. They haven't really felt as fierce as they could. Like I feel like he's been going for a lot more of the showmanship aspect of a spear. Like
Yeah.
look at the one he did on El Grande Americano at Money in the Bank.
Oh
Like
yeah,
he literally like jumped up and just kind of
he got the
lightly tackled him.
yeah.
I don't know, like again, this is very super nitpicky, people. But like, yeah, this was one of his better spears, and one of the ones that like I enjoy, just like that tight feeling, like literally, I am going to destroy you, like I am going to devour everything you are, and just spear the ever loving life
Yeah.
out of you. Like,
He seemed to
yeah,
take
it was good.
Braun Strowman's thing outside the ring though, where he's like running around. But now he has
Oh
this
yeah.
little. Now he has the funny thing about that is the way that he does that move, where like he runs and does a spear.
Hmm.
Before that ever became a thing in his arsenal, when I was playing like the wrestling games over the years, I used to do that every single time I was playing those.
Oh yeah.
Like if I was trying to get some momentum, or I was like really fucking up in the match and I wasn't winning, and then I managed to get them outside the ring, I always used to fucking run around in a circle to either get away from them or to like charge at them and do like some sort of attack. So that's what it kind of reminds me of whenever I did it, because I remember I used to do that, throw them in the ring, did whatever I needed to do to win the match. But yeah, I can definitely see that when it comes to how he's been handling these spears as of recent. I don't know if it's because of the certain people he's in the ring with. Maybe he needs to be a little bit more
Yeah.
careful with, or something along the lines of that. Because I would assume, because I feel like this is a common thing with every match before they put everything together, they discuss what's going to happen and they ask, oh, you want to take this for me, sell the move, or wherever the case is. But yeah, I have noticed that. And then like the whole thing with like Chad Gable though, like I don't really know what we're doing with that. Like, don't get me wrong, seeing Chad and
Yeah.
Penta in a match, I'm not gonna complain about that, because they've always put on great matches with one another. I'd argue and say probably the most recent one they had was probably a lot better than their first, especially when it got a little crazy. Was when I think that was the one where Gable took a pretty hard bump on his face. But it's like I
Yeah.
really want to know like what's going on with that. The whole Gable thing, it just seems like very inconsistent, and we don't really know what's going on with El Grande Americana moving forward past Money in the Bank. So you got to really see what's going on with that. And yeah, I mean,
Well,
Kaiser.
I think, yeah, Kaiser just appearing out of nowhere. I'm just like, oh, hi, buddy. It's been ages. How
He's
you doing back
The
there?
dude's bulking up, so I mean, if he's
Mhm.
obviously bulking up for a reason, so
Yeah,
you got to do something with him.
yeah. And I think right now, currently, El Grande is he's the speed champion still, isn't
Oh
he?
yeah, that is right. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're doing WWE speed stuff with him currently, which okay, fine, cool, neat, whatever. Yeah, just nice to see Ludwig Kaiser just kind of chilling in the back. All right, get on TV, buddy. Much like Karrion Kross, he's finally gonna get on TV, and
Mhm.
not only just on TV, but on a PLE as well. Like that's big on his part. Um, but anything else to deal with like Penta or Bron Breakker when it comes to tonight's festivities, if you will?
Um, I guess the only thing I really want to say is I'm glad that Penta's involving himself with the main eventers on the show. I think that's really
Yeah,
nice.
I think so too. Which leads us to our quickfire segments. Now, I had already mentioned the Finn and JD challenging the New Day for the tag titles next week, so that'll be a fun heel versus heel contest that we get. Sheamus has a confrontation with Rusev after talking with the Alpha Academy girls and Tozawa for basically failing them last week. Looks like Rusev and Sheamus are going to be locking horns here
Good.
eventually. I do like the line of like, "Oh, I'm a god in the ring and you're snake in the back." Like, g- great line from Rusev. I want to shout out. So I'm looking forward to their banger of a match, and of course, Karrion Cross, talking to Sami Zayn, basically being like, "Hey, I was right," blah blah blah, and Sami Zayn just decking him in the schnoz and saying, "Hey, it's official." And again, Karrion Cross finally being on TV, like in a match capacity, and on a PLE no less. Like he's gonna be at Night of Champions. Like I'm wondering, like I have a feeling that maybe Rhea and Raquel was going to happen at Night of Champions anyways. Um, but I'm wondering if Karrion Cross and Sami Zayn was the replacement now for AJ and Dom. Because, like, yeah, it's very interesting why this isn't on Raw next,
Yeah.
you know? Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, get that paycheck, buddy. Just, again, be safe over there. But, yeah, I mean, interesting turn of events here. Anything that kind of caught your eye with all these backstage quick segments and all that?
So, okay, you got a tag title match next
Yeah.
week. Not the people I want going for those titles, so hopefully those get on Braun and Braun soon, because I feel like that'd be really nice to see those two powerhouses walking around with the titles. But I mean, hey,
Yeah.
they're doing something, and Dom and AJ being called off probably didn't want to show up at the show, which you can't really blame them. Sheamus getting involved with Rusev again to actually fully start the feud and everything. I'm really looking forward to that. That's a plus in my book. Doing a little bit more with Rusev outside of like going after little grunts that you find when you're playing a video game, going after little henchmen and stuff. You actually going up against one of the people you really want to see just tear the house down. So whenever Sheamus and Rusev get in the ring and they really put things together, I'm expecting that to take off. And Karrion Cross, happy to see him here being a part of something and having a match with Sami Zayn. I would assume after thinking about it, um, maybe they wanted to put Sammy on the Saudi show because I know they love them over there. So maybe
Yeah.
that's why the match is taking place. And
Yeah.
I mean, if it were me, I personally would have Cross win that match only because I feel like the dude needs some momentum, and it's not like it would hurt
Yeah.
Sammy really. And the funny thing
Yeah.
about that is the pay per view has 6 matches.
Oh my gosh, we're beyond the 5 match limit.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, thank you, Night of Champions, for having more than 5 matches on your card. Oh, that's great. Oh, that makes me excited. Cool. All right, great. Neat. Um, all right, yeah, I mean that's all I've got for Raw. Again, like I guess to kind of transition now to into our final thoughts and our outro and all that. I mean, again, I thought Raw was okay tonight. Very simple matches going through forward. We had our semifinals between the Queen and King of the Rings and all that. Our finals are now set for Night of Champions. A couple matches added to the night as well, and just other stories pushing forward. Again, I would like a name for Seth's group. That would be great. Gunther versus Goldberg is heating up as it should be.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're also building up a women's triple threat match for the IC title, which should be a banger as well. So yeah, I mean, I was pleased with Raw. It was just an okay show. Nothing really nothing really bad happened on it, but nothing really like mind blowing to really just be like, oh my god, that happened! Oh, I can't believe it. But yeah, what'd you think of Raw?
So I really like the main event between Jey and Cody. That was really good. Right winner there. Really looking forward to seeing Cody and Randy this weekend, and we'll dive into that once we get a little bit more closer with our two other shows. Roxanne and Jade. I was really happy for the effort Roxanne did, but obviously she has other plans. So Jade is gonna take on the Empress of Tomorrow. So hopefully she's ready for Asuka and she's not overly confident just because she has muscle. Because muscle don't mean shit towards Asuka. That's all I want to say here. And I mean Gunther and Goldberg. Just interested to really see next whenever those two guys get in the ring. Triple threat match should be interesting to see what sort of backlash is going to happen next week when it comes to the whole confrontation between Bayley, Becky, and Lyra. Mainly just Bayley and Lyra, because I feel like Becky just wanted all this shit to happen anyway, because she's the bad guy in this situation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm in this same boat as you. Hopefully we find out a name of Seth Rollins' group. I mean, he delivered a good message, made sense in all of it, but give us a name for the group. Hopefully give us that song. Hopefully it wasn't just teased to us online that you're going to get some mainstream artists and then it doesn't happen. And you're just going to tweak Seth's song and just change like one instrumental for like 0.2 seconds. That's it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, give us more. Give us
it was
more
an all right
to
show.
change it. Yeah. All right, great. Well, we're just going to end it there, guys. You know, a little bit of a shorter show, but hey, that's fine when it comes to these shows that are just okay. We're not gonna pad things out just to make a time frame and all that. Nah, we're gonna talk about what we want to. We're gonna go as long or as short as we want to, and that's just the name of the game. So yeah, I'm just gonna log off here. So thank you guys so much for checking out Weebs the Ring, taking time out of your day to catch the show and all that. If you enjoyed what we had to say, we have plenty of social media accounts. All of our handles are right there on your screen in the yellow part of the screen. You have the at SNME Studio, that is our parent company. You got at Legendy Vash. Again, he's not here tonight. He had to take care of another recording and all that because, you know, time frames and all that stuff. It happens. Everything's all good and on his end and all that. At Drop This Box, check out all his stuff, all his other content as well. At Watkins MW to hear what I have to say about anything else. And of course, you know, at Weebs of the Ring, and use the hashtag Weebs of the Ring. That is a great way for us to keep track of the conversation going forward and see what everybody's talking about and what you guys have to say out there, as well as any feedback you guys have for us, because hey, we're nothing without you guys tuning in, and we would love to hear how we can improve the show in any way, shape, or form that is possible. Weebs of the Ring is presented by SNME Studio. Thanks, of course, to our production team for everything that they do to put on the show. Thank you once again for joining us, and remember, as always, no stunt grenades were harmed in the recording of this podcast. Have a good night and enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you later on for not only grappling with the week with our predictions, but SmackDown as well as Night of Champions. Have a good night, rest easy, and we will see you then.
You guys.